Gentlemen, prepare yourselves for a nasty shock. A government inspector is about to pay us a visit.
A government inspector?
A government inspector?
What sort of an inspector?
A government inspector from the capital, incognito, and with a special brief.
That's a pleasant surprise.
Oh my God. A special brief?
Just when we had everything running so smoothly.
I had a premonition of it. Last night, I dreamed about two sinister rats. I'd never seen such rats before. Great black beasts. They stalked in, sniffed everywhere, and then vanished. Now, let me read you this letter from Andrei Ivanovich Chmikov. You know the man, Luba Filipovna. Here's what he has to say. Dear friend and benefactor, well, to warn you, here we are. I'm writing in great haste to warn you. A government inspector has been issued with a special brief to investigate the whole district, and your town in particular. I have this on the most reliable authority, though the official in question passes himself off as a private citizen. I realize you've committed your share of indiscretions. You're an astute man, and naturally don't ignore your opportunities. Well, we're all friends here, so I advise you to take every precaution, as he may descend on you at any moment. For all you know, he could have arrived already and be staying somewhere incognito. The other day, my sister Anna Kirlovna drove over with her husband. Ivan Kirlovich has put on weight and scrapes away at his fiddle all day long. Well, that, gentlemen, is the situation.
A situation indeed. A most unusual situation. Yes, decidedly fishy.
What are we to do about it, Anton Antonovich? Why should they want to inspect us?
Why? It's the hand of fate. So far, they've been poking about in all the other towns. Now, it's our turn.
In my considered opinion, Anton Antonovich, the matter is altogether more complex. Our government's on the verge of hostilities, so obviously this man's from intelligence on the lookout for treason.
Oh, that's brilliant! Hits the nail right on the head. High treason. In the back of beyond, this isn't the frontier town. You could gallop for years and not reach the border.
The point may be a little too subtle for you, Anton Antonovich, but the government, I happen to know, has a long arm. They notice everything.
Exactly. And that's why I'm giving you fair warning. Gentlemen, put your houses in order. I've already made my arrangements, and I suggest you do the same. Not least you, Luba Filipovna. That inspector is going to make a beeline straight for your hospital, so you'd better get it spruced up. Start with issuing a few clean nightshirts. Stop the patients shambling about in their underwear.
That's most helpful. I'd never have thought of it.
You have to stick up a card over each bed, in Latin, or well, one of those languages. Various diseases, which body's got what, date of admission. In any case, there shouldn't be so many patients. It makes the doctor look incompetent.
Well, as far as treatment is concerned, Christian Ivanovich and myself have evolved our policy. Let nature take her course. We've no need for expensive medicines. Your human being is a simple thing. If he's due to die, he dies. And if he's going to recover, he recovers. Besides, we don't know what Christian Ivanovich diagnosis anyways. He can't even speak the language.
And as for you, Judge, you ought to have a good look at your district courthouse. Did you know your porter is breeding geese in the lobby? Roll the petitioner's mill about? The place is littered with goslings, and you have to wade ankle deep in goose shit to get anywhere. No arguing with the principal. Poultry farming is very creditable, but he shouldn't be doing it there.
I'll have them removed at once. Would you like to come to dinner?
And that is your chief clerk. Excellent legal background. Highest qualifications. But need he reek like a distillery? It's not necessary, surely. There should be some remedy if it's congenital. You could disguise it with onion or garlic, or even have Christian Ivanovich write a prescription.
Neat.
That smell's here to stay. He acquired it from his nurse's tit. He was suckled on vodka and sweated alcohol ever since.
Well, at least I've brought it to your attention. Now, about private arrangements, what Shmikov refers to as indiscretions. It's not my place to say anything. None of us are spotless. We're all as God made us, no matter what the intellectuals might think.
How would you define indiscretions, Mayor? I openly admit I take bribes, but only hunting dogs. That's quite a different matter.
Dogs, or whatever. A bribe is a bribe.
I have to disagree with you there, Anton Antonovich. When a man accepts a 500-ruble coat or silk shawl for his wife...
And what are you being so smug about? I may take bigger bribes, but at least I'm a practicing Christian. I never miss a Sunday. But you, when you get launched on your fancy notions about the creation, it's enough to make your hair stand on end.
At least I have intelligence enough to think things out for myself.
Yes, well sometimes too many brains are worse than none at all. But I apologize for ever bringing up your district court. It would take a brave man to stick his nose in there. And God help you if he did. But you, come on, look at you. As director of education, you've got to do something about your teachers. Oh yes, they're very intelligent. Lots of letters after their names. But they've picked up all the eccentric habits that seem to go with education these days. One of them, I can't remember his name, had like a pumpkin. Whenever he gets to his desk, he twitches like a palsy rabbit. And then he combs his beard with his nails. It's one thing making faces at the students. It may be part of the course for all I know. But suppose he does it to the visitor. The inspector might feel personally insulted.
What am I to do about him? I've always reprimanded him. Just the other day, the chairman of the board walked in, and this man put his tongue out. He meant well, but I got told off for exposing young persons to liberal ideas.
And then there's your history teacher. Oh, a brilliant man. A mine of information. But he's so passionate, he forgets himself. I watched him once. Oh yes, nice and calm with the Assyrians and the Babylonians and all that lot. But as soon as he got to Alexander the Great, he went berserk. I thought the school was on fire. He shot from his desk, grabbed the chair, and charged round the room, whirling it and blowing fit to burst. He smashed it to smithereens. Alexander may be a hero, but why break up government property?
Yes, he's a fanatic, and I've spoken to him repeatedly, but he just shouts at me, I don't care what you say. Education is my life, and I won't be muzzled.
Incredible. Academics are either boozers or exhibitionists.
And everyone when they're spoken, just to prove how smart they are, it was a black day when you pushed me in that department.
Never mind all that now. It's that damn incognito I'm worried about. Any minute now, his head will come sliding around that door. And he's going to say, aha, so there you all are. And which of you is the judge? Lyopkin, sir. I'll start with you, Lyopkin. And where is the director of charities? Zemlyanika. Well, you're next, Zemlyanika.
Where's the mayor? Anton Antonovich, what's all this about an inspector?
How did you hear about it?
Peter Ivanovich Babchinsky just dropped into the post office to tell me.
Well, what do you make of it?
Me? I think it means war with the Turks.
Exactly. Precisely my opinion.
You're out of your minds.
No, mark my words. It will be war with the Turks. The French are at the bottom of it.
War with the Turks. We're the ones that are going to catch it, not the Turks. That's what the letter says.
Oh, well, then it won't be war with the Turks.
Thank you. And what do you think of it now?
Me? Tell us how you feel, Anton Antonovich.
Me? I don't feel very apprehensive. Well, a little maybe. It's all those damn merchants and riffraff that worry me. They're always complaining about me. But on my word of honor, and as God's my witness, if they've ever given me anything, it was without the slightest compulsion. Now, if crosses my mind. Someone may have mailed in a complaint about me. Otherwise, why send an inspector? Now suppose, Nastia Kuzmichna, if, for the good of us all, you were to open every letter your office handled and see if anyone sent in a complaint. You can always sew the letters up again, or even send them unopened, for that matter.
I know. I do it already. Not as a precaution, mind you. More from curiosity. I have to know what's going on in the world. And the suggestions you come across, far more helpful than the newspapers.
Will you come across anything about inspector from the capital?
No, not from the capital. Plenty about provincial ones. You do miss a lot, you know, not reading letters. Here's my latest favorite, from a young army officer, describing a ball in such a vivid way. There are so many young ladies, all in their beautiful evening gowns, waiting for a young officer to ask them to dance. The music playing, the rustling of the gowns, all the handsome young officers in uniform. Oh, I find that very moving, so I kept it to myself. Would you like to read it?
I literally don't care. Do me a favor, and if you come across a complaint, don't hesitate. Hang on to it.
Delighted.
Watch out. They'll have you for that one day.
Will they really?
Oh, rubbish. It's all in the family, unless we have an informer on the council.
Well, it's a tricky business we got ourselves into, gentlemen. And to think, Anton Antonovich, I was on my way here to treat you to a dog, sister of that new hound of mine. And you must have heard Sheptovich is suing Benkanovsky again. So I've got hunting privileges on both estates. And I thought we might...
I've no time to worry about hounds and rabbits. I'm just waiting for the moment when that door... An extraordinary thing has happened!
Really startling news.
What's up? What is it?
It was totally unexpected. We went to the hotel. Will you let me tell it, Peter Ivanovich?
I'm afraid you don't have the style.
Well, you'll get in a muddle and leave things out.
I won't leave anything out. I remember it all. Don't interfere and let me tell it. I said don't interfere. Gentlemen, please tell Peter Ivanovich not to interfere. Right, shut up. Just get on with it. You've got me worried here.
We went to the hotel.
Give me a chance and I'll tell you everything in its right order. All right. So when I left your house after you had that disturbing letter, I went straight up. Peter Ivanovich, I've asked you not to interrupt. I have all the facts at my fingertips. On with it. Come on. Okay. So when I left your house after you had that disturbing letter, I went straight up for Korovkin, but he wasn't home. So I called in Rostakovsky, and he was out. So I popped into Nastia Kuzmichna and told her your news. And on my way from there, I ran into Peter Ivanovich.
Near the stall where they
near
sell...
the stalls where they sell pies. Yes. So naturally, I said to Peter Ivanovich, have you heard the confidential news Anton Antonovich has had from the most reliable source? And it turns out he had heard it. How? Well, from your servant Avdota, who had been sent, I don't remember why, to Philip Prochechka.
For a cask
of French brandy. Yeah, that's what it was. So, we set off our Prochechka.
Brandy!
Peter Ivanovich, don't interrupt. I have asked you not to interrupt. So, we set off our Prochechkas, and on the way there, Peter Ivanovich said,
Let's drop in at the end. I haven't had a bite since breakfast and my stomach is rumbling.
Peter Ivanovich's stomach, that is. Then he said,
They've had a fresh delivery of salmon, so I thought we'd have a little snack.
Now, we had just been served when suddenly a man,
Rather distinguished looking and
fashionably dressed, came striding across the room. Such a thoughtful expression on his face, and there was such an air about him. He was obviously a great deal up top. Well, when I saw this, I had a sort of presentiment. There's something up, I told Peter Ivanovich.
And I beckoned.
Yes, and Peter Ivanovich beckoned to the landlord. You know the landlord, Vlas, whose wife just had a baby a few weeks ago. Such a bouncing boy. He'll be running the end just like his father one day. Well, Peter Ivanovich called Vlas over and told him very discreetly,
Who,
he said,
is that man?
and Vlas replied,
That man?
Peter Ivanovich, don't interrupt. I beg of you. You won't be able to tell it. You know you won't. That man, Vlas replied, is a civil servant.
an official from the capital, and his name is Ivan Alexandrovich Klustaklov, and he's traveling to the Saratov province. He behaves in the oddest way. He's been here nearly 2 weeks, and he's scarcely left the inn. He's had all meals on account and refused to pay a single kopeck. Well, when I heard this, the light dawned. Aha! I said to Peter Ivanovich.
No, Peter Ivanovich, I said, aha!
You said it first, then I said it. Peter Ivanovich and I said, aha! Well, why should he hang about here if he's really going to Saratov? Yes, there is your official. What official?
The official you had the letter about, the government inspector.
Oh, it can't be him.
Of course it's him. He doesn't pay his bills and he doesn't leave the town. Who else could it be with a pass made out for Saratov?
It's him. It's him. It must be him. He is so observant, he does not miss a thing. He spotted Peter Ivanovich and me eating salmon. He even came in and appeared in our plate. I was petrified. What room is he staying in?
Number 5, under the stairs.
Where those officers had a fight last year. How long has he been here?
2 weeks.
2 weeks! 2 weeks? Oh my God. Get me out of this one. In the last 2 weeks, I've had the corporal's widow flogged. The prisoners haven't had their rations. The streets are littered with filth. The disgrace.
Well, Anton Antonovich, should the whole council pay him an official call?
Not just the council. The clergy and merchants must go too. That's what my book of etiquette says.
I'll handle this my own way. I've survived plenty of crises before. Even turned them to my advantage sometimes. I can't imagine God will let me down now. You go and elect your own departments. And I'll just stroll along there on my own. Or perhaps with Peter Ivanovich. Just a casual call. My usual concern that visitors are being properly cared for. Digimorda! Go and fetch the superintendent. I shall want you to set somebody else for her and then come back here immediately.
Yes, sir.
Let's go, Amos Feodorovich. This could be a catastrophe.
What are you so worried about? Just stuff your patients into clean nightshirts and you're all set.
That's a minor detail. The food regulations say I should feed the patients nothing but mutton broth. How can I get the stink of cabbage soup out in time?
Well, I'm not worried. If he's nosy enough to wade through all those files, he won't learn a thing. In 20 years on the bench, I've yet to decipher one of their illiterate petitions. Solomon himself would be out of his depth.
Alright, get on the street and... Where are the others? I thought I gave orders for Prokhorov to be here. Where's Prokhorov?
According to the decision, sir. He's unfit for duty.
What's the matter with him?
They brought him in this morning dead drunk. He's doused him with a couple of buckets, but he hasn't come to yet.
Incompetent rabble! Alright, get on the street if you can handle that and go to my office first. Fetch my sword and my new hat. Get out. Come on, Peter Ivanovich.
Me too. Please let me come, Anton Antonovich.
No! Three's too many. Besides, there's not enough room in the carriage.
That doesn't matter. I can trot along behind. I only want to squint through the keyhole and see how he behaves.
Fine. Alright, fetch the first 10 peasants you see and look at this shabby old thing. That swindler of Doolin. He knows his mayor's got a substandard sword, but does he think to offer him a new one? Oh, they're a treacherous crew around here. I know they'll be scribbling away on the sly their petitions. Alright, fetch the first 10 peasants you see and have the streets near the inn spotless. And as for you, I know all about you. You've been pilfering again. How about you and Cherneyev, hey? He offers you 5 yards of material for a new uniform, and you swipe the whole bowl. Take according to your rank. Now get out! Svetlana Ilyinichna, where the devil have you been? This is getting impossible.
We were out in the yard.
All right, that government inspector from the capital has arrived. What arrangements have you made?
All of your orders are being carried out. Sirsinov's taken a squad of men to clean up the streets.
And where's Pukovitsin?
With the fire brigade.
Prokhorov, still drunk?
That's right.
How could you let this happen?
He's like that. He went off last night to investigate a drunken brawl and came back plastered.
All right, Pukovitsin is tall and imposing, so station him on the bridge. And have that rotting old fence by the shoemakers torn down. Put up a few signs so that it looks like town planning. Wait, Hold it. Leave that fence where it is. There's 40 cartloads of garbage behind it. This is a filthy town. I put up a monument or even a little fence, and then go and dump their rubbish behind it. And as for conditions of employment, you're all satisfied. And you say, Your Honor, we are completely satisfied. And anyone who's not satisfied will soon have a very good reason for it. Oh Lord, I'm a sinful man. But if you get me out of this one, I'll light you such a candle, and every skunk of a merchant will fork out a ton of wax for it. Come on, Peter Ivanovich.
That's the hat box, not the hat, Anton Antonovich.
Of course it's the hat box. And to hell with it. And if he asks you about the chapel up at the hospital,
What
chapel?
we had a grant for one 5 years ago. We began to build it, but it burned down. I wrote a full report. Otherwise some numbskull will say we never even started it. And stop the troops loafing about the streets half naked. This garrison is a good-for-nothing bunch. They just throw their gray clothes over their nightshirts with nothing underneath. Come on, Peter Ivanovich.
Where are they? Where are they? Anton, my dear! It's all your fault, you and your dilly-dallying. Where's my pin? Where's my handkerchief? Anton, where are you? Has he arrived? A real inspector? With spurs and medals and a curly mustache?
Stop your mustache!
What sort of mustache?
I'll tell you later, dear!
Later. That's charming. I'm not interested in later. Just tell me one thing. How old is he? And what color are his eyes? And is he handsome? He's gone. I'll not forget this in a hurry. Mama, Mama, please do me up. I won't be a minute. And look where your minute has landed us. We haven't learned a thing. It's your incorrigible vanity. You heard Clopuff was coming, so you had to mince and prance in front of the mirror. First this profile, then that. She deludes herself that he's in love with her. But the minute you turn your back, he makes a face at you.
Ugh, Mama, I told you 2 hours or so, and we'll hear all about it.
2 hours? Thank you very much. That's a great comfort. Why not make it 2 months? Hey, Avdota.
Yes?
Avdota, you heard about the visitor?
Which visitor?
Which visitor? What an imbecile! You couldn't find out what day it is. You think about nothing but men. Follow my husband. Get after them. Get after them. Do you hear? Run and ask where they've gone and find out everything. I want a full description. Look through the keyhole and get all the details. What color eyes? Is he tall and slim and handsome? And come back at once. Do you hear? Hurry! Hurry! Hurry!
Oh my God, I'm starving. What's that? Sounds like a pack of wolves. It's me. It's my belly growling. I can't see us ever getting home. We've been on the road a month already, and now we're stuck in this dirty hole. You had plenty for the whole trip, your lordship, but you have to splash it around. Now see here, Osip. Go book me a room, the best suite, and order me some salmon and caviar. You know coarse food don't agree with me. I wouldn't mind if you're somebody, but you're a nobody. You make acquaintance with a fellow traveler, they wave a pack of cards in your nose, and there goes your last kopeck. I've had enough. I'm going back to the village. Things are easier in the country, not so lively, perhaps. But life in the metropolis is my ideal. If you've got the money, the world is at your feet. Performing dogs, theater, whatever you fancy. They talk so refined there. Aristocratic, you might say. You get called Sarah in the market, and on the ferry, you might be rubbing arses with a government official. Feel like a bit of company? Hang around in some store, and an old army officer with a chest full of medals will rattle off war memoirs. That's my idea of society. Never a rude word. You're treated like an equal. Tired of walking? Hail a cab, perch it like a duke, and no need to pay. Stop at some house, tell the driver to wait, and saunter out through behind and vanish. The snag is, with this guy, you never know where your next meal is coming from. The minute his old man sends him money, he goes on the razzle, and a week later, I'm pawning his new suit in the rag market. And only the finest English cloth for you. 150 rubles your coat costs, and you're happy to get 24 at second hand. And the trousers? Throw them in for nothing. And all because you won't do an honest day's work. If your old man knew what you were doing, you'd be rubbing yourself for a week. If you're unlucky enough in this world to have to work, you have to work. And now this old bugger of a landlord won't give us any food till our bill's paid. And if it isn't, what I'm gonna do for some cabbage soup? A cockroach doesn't sound bad right now. Someone's coming. It's probably him.
Hey, you've been sprawling on my bed again.
Who, me?
Don't lie. Of course you have. It's rumpled.
I've got legs. I'm quite capable of standing. Why should I be interested in your bed?
Here, take these. See if there's any tobacco left in that pouch. Please?
How could there be? You smoked the last 4 days ago.
Now see here, Ossip.
What do you want?
Go along there.
Where?
To the dining room and tell them to bring me some food.
No thanks.
Kindly do as I ask.
What good would it do? The innkeeper said we had our last meal.
Preposterous. How dare he refuse me?
He also says he'll report you to the mayor. You haven't paid your bill in 2 weeks, and your master's a swindler. I've seen scum like him before.
And it gives you such pleasure to repeat it to me?
You play yourself down like lords and live at my expense, and if I tucked you out, I'd never get my money back. Well, I'm not bluffing, he says. I'm going straight out to complain to the police to have you both clapped in jail.
That's enough! Go and give my order!
Ugh!
What a coarse creature you are.
Not a crumb more till I see your money. Those were his words.
Then you must go and talk him out of it. I'm extremely hungry. Really. I mean it.
Well, what can I say?
Explain to him that I must eat, or I might waste away. The money will look after itself. He's a peasant. He thinks it's nothing to starve all day long. The idea.
I'll call the innkeeper and you can give your own order.
I don't want to see him. Go and give my order.
Well, you're going to see him and you can give your own order. I'm fed up with this whole business.
I never dreamed one could feel so empty before. I thought that if I went for a little stroll, my appetite might go away, but damn it, it hasn't. I had enough money to get home, but that cavalry officer cheated me. It must have been the way he dealt the cards. I hadn't been playing for 10 minutes, and he cleaned me out. He must have cheated me. I'd like a chance to get my own back. What a rotten little town this is. The grocer refuses me credit. Mean provincial. If the landlord doesn't give me anything, it's going to be pretty serious. I suppose I could raise something off of my clothes? Sell my trousers? Unthinkable. I can go hungry at a pinch, but I must arrive home in a Petersburg suit. It would be splendid if I could hire a carriage. I'd roll up to the neighbors in such style, lamps blazing, Ossip behind me in livery. That would impress them. What's going on? They'd ask. Whoever can it be? My footman enters, Mr. Ivan Alexandrovich Kolesnikov, from the capital. Will you receive him? Of course, those bumpkins don't know the meaning of the word receive. When they pay a call, they stomp in the room like clumsy bears. I'd saunter through the room, glide in, and single out the prettiest daughter. Enchantée, mademoiselle. May I? Oh, my God, I'm so hungry, I feel quite sick.
I'm bringing food.
Food? Food. Food!
The landlord allowed you dinner for the last time.
Oh, the landlord, the landlord. To hell with the landlord. What is there?
Soup and rolls.
Only 2 courses?
That's right.
That's absurd. You tell him for me, it's not nearly enough.
Landlord said it's far too much.
Where's the gravy?
There isn't any.
That's monstrous. I happen to just like me?
Not like you at all.
What are they like then?
Like everyone else, they pay their bills.
I'm not going to argue with you. What do I call this? It's nothing but water. It doesn't have any taste, though it stinks enough. I can't stomach this. Bring me something else.
I'll take it away.
Oh, no, you don't. Get your dirty hands off of it.
The boss says he doesn't like it. He doesn't have to eat it.
You may be used to treating people like that, but I will not put up with it. Filthy swine. There are feathers floating about instead of fat. What a scrawny bird. Bring me the roast. There's a little soup left off it. You may finish it if you like. What is this? That is not a roast.
What is it then?
God knows, but it can't be beef. One of the kitchen utensils, perhaps. You can't pry it off. My teeth will be black. Bandits, what's next?
Nothing.
What do you mean, nothing? At least I should have some gravy or some dessert. It's scandalous. You always have to fleece your own customers. Oh, if only I had some cash, I'd send out for some bread.
The mayor is here, and he's making inquiries about you.
My God, here we go. Suppose that animal really went off to complain. I guess I could go off to jail. But no, I shall refuse to. There are other officers in town, and they might see. How dare he? I'll tell him to his face. How dare you?
Good day to you, sir.
Oh, how do you do? How do you do?
I trust I'm not disturbing you.
Not at all, not at all.
As mayor of this town, it's one of my duties to see there are no complaints. That our visitors...
What am I to do about it? It's not my fault. I'll pay, of course. It's the landlord. He's to blame. He just served me a joint as tough as my boot. And God knows what he dumped into that soup. I had to chuck it out of the window. They've starved me for days on end. Even the tea stinks of fish. It's monstrous.
I'm really sorry, sir, but it's not really my fault. I see to it that the market meat is of the highest quality. Dealers from the north bring it in. Decent, honest folks. I wouldn't know where he gets his supply. But if conditions here aren't up to scratch, may I suggest a move to other lodgings?
Wait a minute. I know your other lodgings. What authority have you? I hope you don't. I have a government post in the capital.
My God, he's living. You must know everything. Those merchants have been complaining to him.
I would budget the whole pack you came. I'll go straight to the top, to the minister.
Please, sir. Sir, I'm a wife and family, sir. Please, sir, don't ruin me, sir. I'm a wife and family.
What are you blundering about? They're no concern of mine. Do you think I'll go off to jail because you have a wife and kids? I'll not stand for that.
Sir, it's really an experience. You know yourself my Sally wouldn't keep me in tea and sugar. What bribes there might have been were mere trifles. A little something for the table, or a shawl for my wife. And if the corporal's widow said I had a fog, she's lying!
What's that to do with me? I can't think why you're telling me about a corporal's widow. Corporal's widow is one thing. Oh no, you wouldn't dare lay a finger on me! I'm quite prepared to pay my debts. I'm just cleaned out at the moment. That's why I'm marooned here. I haven't got a ruble to my name.
It's very crafty. Plays his own smoke screen and leaves us to interpret it. Well, gentlemen, nothing ventured. Sir, if you're in need of money or anything else, I'd be more than happy to help. As mayor of this town, it's one of my duties to assist travelers.
You can make me a loan? Oh, well I'll settle up with the landlord right away. I only need 200 rubles, perhaps less.
Hey.
Here it is. Exactly. Don't bother to count it.
You are a gentleman, sir. This puts matters on a very different footing. Hey, Acid, fetch the waiter.
Thank God you took the money. He asked for 200, but I gave him 4. Yeah.
Why are you standing? Please sit down.
Oh, we prefer to stay.
No, that I've seen how hospitable you are, I thought for a moment that, do sit down.
You want us to treat him incognito. Fair enough. We'll play it that way. Pretend we haven't a clue who he is. I had some business in town with one of our landowners, Peter Ivanovich Dolchinsky. So, since we were here, we decided to take a visit by the inn. Our usual concern that visitors were being properly cared for. And by a stroke of good fortune, we happened to have made a most pleasant acquaintance.
The pleasure's all mine. I must say that without you, I thought I was going to be stuck here for some time. I was racking my brains how to pay.
A likely story. Didn't know where the money was coming from. Would it be inquisitive to ask you what's brought you to our town?
I'm just passing through, on my way to Saratov.
Just passing through? You've got to keep your wits about you with a man like this. So you're enjoying a pleasant break from the cares of office?
No, my father insists on my coming home. The old man is vexed that I haven't been promoted yet. He seems to think they present you with a medal the instant you arrive. I'd like to place him in an office for a while and see how he gets along.
Sakes alive, the ammunition he uses. Now he brings in his old father. And will you be staying long?
I sincerely hope not. He's a stubborn old fool and not very perceptive. How could I be expected to survive outside of the capital? Why should I spend my time among a bunch of yokels? My tastes have just developed among different lines. I just wither without sophisticated society. My God, what a filthy hole this is! I've never met such bedbugs before. They bite like dogs. And the management has even seen fit to buy me candles. At night, I may want to jot something down or read, and I can't. The place is pitch dark.
Unacceptable. Well, I did have a suggestion earlier. There's a room in my house, nice and comfortable. Oh, I'm being presumptuous. Sorry.
On the contrary, I'd be delighted. After all, a private house is much more comfortable than this pigsty.
I'd be so pleased, and so would my wife. We've always been very hospitable, you know, especially when our guest is a gentleman of culture.
I'm rather like that myself. I can't abide hypocrisy.
Do you wanted something?
My bill.
I'm giving you one every day.
I can't keep track of your stupid bills. What's the damage?
Well, the first day you pay for the full dinner. The next day you just had salmon. And after that, you put everything on account.
Now the oath begins itemizing. What's the total?
Never mind all that. Just bill the mayor's office.
That's much more convenient.
I was wondering, would you be interested in visiting some of our charitable institutions? The hospital, for example.
What for?
Just to see how efficient we are, how we run things, and so on.
Certainly, I'd be delighted to.
And then you could visit the school to see how concerned we are with education.
Certainly, certainly.
And then you could visit the jail.
Why the jail?
To see how we handle criminal scum.
I'd much prefer the hospital.
Just as you wish. Shall we go in your own carriage or in mine?
We may as well go in yours.
No more room for you, Peter Ivanovich.
Oh, that's all right. I'll make my own way back.
Now listen, take 2 notes. One to my wife, and the other to Zemlyanika at the hospital. Would it be all right if I just wrote a quick line to my wife, so she can make suitable preparations?
Why ever not? Here's some ink, but I can't seem to find any paper. Why don't you just use these old bills?
Thank you. We'll see how things go after a square meal and a couple bottles of wine. The local Madeira vows. It may not be very classy, but it could put an elephant on its back. If only I could tell his rank and see how dangerous he is. Here you go, Peter Ivanovich.
I hope you haven't hurt yourself.
Oh, it's nothing at all. Nothing at all. Just a scratch on the bridge of my nose. No, don't worry about me. I'll just run over. Christian Ivanovich will give me a band-aid. Nothing to worry about. If you're ready, sir, shall we go? I'll direct your servant where to bring the luggage. To my house, my good man. To the mayor's house. Anyone will give you directions. If you're ready, sir, shall we go?
After you.
No. I insist. After you. You idiot! Could you find a better place to collapse? Laying yourself like a nincompoop, like a doormat?
No.
Get out!
This is all you're doing. I waited an hour while you titivated yourself. If I could be ready in time, why couldn't you? But no, you had to dilly-dally. I shan't listen to you again. Look, the town's dead. Not a soul to be seen.
I've told you, Mama. We'll hear all the news in no time. Avdotia should be back soon. Mama, do you see that? Someone's coming. Look at the end of the street.
Where? Another of your fantasies, I suppose. Oh, yes, there is someone. Rather stout, in a morning coat. How vexing! Who can it be?
It's Dobchinski, Mama.
You're always imagining things. Of course it's not Dobchinski.
I promise you, Mama, it is Dobchinski.
Argue. I just told you, it's not Dobchinski.
See, what did I tell you? It is Dobchinski.
Well, I've got eyes, haven't I? Of course it's Dobchinski. Hey, you! Get in here at once! Well, where are they? What? Is he strict? How's my husband getting on? Such a stupid man. Refuses to say a thing till he gets inside. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, stampeding out with the rest of them and leaving me here without a morsel of news, not a shred of decency in the man. And to think what I've done for you, standing godmother to your eldest son. I'm waiting for an explanation.
My dear lady, I've ran so hard to pay you my respects that I'm quite out of breath. Anton Antonovich sent you this note. Oh, good day, Maria Antonovna.
Good day, Peter Ivanovich.
But who is he? Is he a general?
Not exactly, but he's close to it.
So he is the man in the letter.
That's him, all right. I was the first to spot him, you know, along with Peter Ivanovich.
And how did everything go?
It was a pretty icy reception. He thumped his fist on the table and said the hotel was a disgrace. Fortunately, when he realized Anton Antonovich had nothing to do with it, he talked in a much more friendly way. They've gone off now to inspect the hospital. I must admit, at one stage, Anton Antonovich was sure there'd been a complaint. And even I was a little edgy.
Why should you worry? You're not employed by the government.
Yeah, but when someone that important speaks, it makes you nervous, you know?
Who cares about that? What's he like?
He's so refined. I just wither without sophisticated society.
But what's he like physically? Dark or fair?
Chestnut, I think I'd call it. And his eyes dart around like a little animal's. It's most uncomfortable.
Oh, what's in the note? In haste to inform you, my dear, that I was in dire straits, but God has preserved 2 pickled cucumbers and caviar 3 rubles. What have pickled cucumbers to do with it?
Oh, they're old bills. Anton Antonovich didn't have any paper.
Yes, but God has preserved me. Get a bed ready for our distinguished visitor as quickly as you can. Our own room would be best. Don't bother about anything extra for dinner. We'll have a bite with Luba Filipovna. But order more wine. Tell Abdulin to send the best, or I'll excavate his cellar. 1 hip bath, 30 kopecks. My respects. My God, we must get a move on! Grusha!
Grusha!
Run to Abdulin's! Wait, I better send that. Give this to the coachman Sidor and tell him to run to Abdulin's as quickly as he can. And you, go and get the spare room ready. Do it properly. Clean linens, fresh towels, and soap. Empty out the drawers and cupboards, and make up the beds. And somebody clean the floor!
Well, I'll have a lot and see how the inspection's progressing.
By all means, I'm not keeping you. So, Maria, let's make ourselves presentable. He moves in the very best circles. We mustn't let him laugh at us. You're pastel blue, I think, with the little flounces.
Oh, no, Mama, not that dull old thing.
The
Tiakin's wife is always in blue, and so is Zemlyanka's daughter. I'll wear my flowery muslin.
The flowery muslin? What a contrary child! The other is far more appropriate, because I will be wearing my damask pink. I look very well in the damask pink.
The damask pink? Oh, Mama, that doesn't suit you at all.
What do you mean it doesn't suit me?
It doesn't go with your eyes. You need darker eyes to carry it off.
You're impossible. Whatever are my eyes if they're not dark? Darkest hazel. Why, whenever I tell my fortune, I always turn up the Queen of Spades. Of course they're dark.
Oh, Mama, you know you're the Queen of Hearts.
What nonsense the girl speaks. I've never turned up the Queen of Hearts. Can you believe it? Queen of Hearts. Heaven knows what she's babbling about.
Where shall I dump this?
In here, sir.
Oh, what a life. Give me a breather. Any loads too much on an empty stomach.
Will the general be here soon?
General? What general?
Your master!
My master? What kind of general is he meant to be?
Isn't he a general?
He's general, all right. Only too general.
Is that higher or lower than ordinary general?
Higher.
Is that right? So that's what all the fuss is about.
I can see your bright one. Here, how about finding me something to eat?
There's nothing ready yet for the likes of you. You're not to have the ordinary stuff. But the minute your master sits down, you'll have some of the same.
Well, what ordinary stuff is there?
Cabbage soup and meat pie.
That'll do. I'm not fussy. Soup and pie, let's eat it. Can we get through to the kitchen that way?
Sure.
What excellent institutions you have here. I like the way you show your visitors around. Nobody showed me anything in the other towns.
In other towns, I venture to suggest the council officials have too much to hide. But I speak for all of us when I say here, we're only interested in serving the community and our superiors.
The luncheon was delicious. I'm afraid I overate. Do you eat that well every day?
No, that was just a special something for our distinguished guests.
I do enjoy my food. Why else does one live except to pluck the flowers of pleasure?
Yeah.
What was it that we ate? Fresh salt cod, sir. It was extremely tasty. Where did we eat? In the hospital, one of our charity institutions. Yes, I remember now. There were beds dotted about. Have all the patients recovered? Very few around, I thought. No more than 10 left. The rest got better very rapidly. We always arrange it like that. Most methodical. You would scarcely credit it, but ever since I took over, the sick have recovered like flies. They're hardly through the doors before they start to feel well again. And we achieve it less by medicines than by efficient administration.
If I may make so bold, I'd like to point out that a mayor such as myself has a back-breaking job. Take sewage, for example. There's repairs to be supervised, refuse collected. A genius might be forgiven for getting it into a muddle. But thank God, everything here is running smoothly. The streets are clean, drunkenness under control. It's not honors I'm after. They present the temptation, of course. But compared with virtue, all is vanity.
God gave the bastard one talent. He certainly knows how to lay it on.
That's very true. I'm something of a philosopher myself. Verses come very naturally to me. Verses too at times.
Oh.
Just what one would expect, Peter Ivanovich. He's obviously widely read.
Say, what do you have in the way of entertainment around here? Is there a place where one might relax in a game of cards?
God forbid, God forbid, we wouldn't dream of allowing such establishments here. Do you know, I've never held a card in my hand. Wouldn't know what to do with one. I've always found it hard to tolerate them. Such a waste of the precious hours of life.
The old toad took 100 rubles off me last night.
I prefer to spend more time in my country's service.
That's a little harsh. One must know where to stop.
Okay.
I must say, I find a modest flutter rather
are more than enchanté to meet you.
Madam, you can be more enchanté than I am.
I don't know how you can say such things, but you're only trying to flatter us. Won't you sit down?
Simply to stand beside you is happiness enough. But if you insist, I'll sit. And now that I'm so close to you, I'm enraptured.
I don't know how you can say such. But you're only. I can't dream you intend that compliment from me. I imagine you find your voyage very tedious after life in the capital.
I can't tell you how tedious. When one is accustomed, comprenez-vous, to society, and one finds oneself in these country filthy hotels, the darkness of ignorance, but fortune has brought me here and rewarded me for my trials.
How disagreeable for you.
Oh, madam, nothing could be more agreeable than this.
But I live in the country.
Ah, yes. The country, too, has its bosky groves and purling streams and secret clearings lined with emerald moss. But it doesn't compare to the capital. The capital. There's the life. I suppose you think I just copy old government documents.
No, we never.
But in fact, I'm on very intimate terms with the head of my department. Some days he claps me on the back and says, "Well, old chap, come to dinner." And I only stop in the office for a few moments each day, just enough time to give my orders. Do this like that and that like this, and then some ink-stained worm of a clerk jumps to it and scratches it off. And then the commissionaire hurries after me with the brush in his hand while I'm still on the stairs, and he says, "Ivan Alexandrovich, let me clean your shoes." But gentlemen, why are you standing? Please sit down.
Quite happy standing.
Don't worry about us.
We know our proper place.
Let's forget about rank. Please, sit down. Sit down. Protocol is so tedious. I often try to go by unnoticed, but I'm scarcely out of the door before someone remarks, "There goes Ivan Alexandrovich Kolesnikov." Once, they thought I was the commander-in-chief, and turned out the regiment to salute me. An officer, a very good friend of mine, came to apologize and said, "We thought you were the commander-in-chief." Really? Yes. And I know all of the leading actresses, of course. I've written several pieces for the theater, so I'm well in with my literary set. I'm on intimate terms with Pushkin. Some days I say to him, "Well, Push, dear old friend, how are things going?" He says, "You know how things are going." Very original mind, Pushkin.
How interesting it is to be a writer. Do the magazines publish your articles?
Yes, the magazines too. I've written several plays for the theater. Norma, The Marriage of Figaro, Lucia de Lammermoor. I can't remember all the titles. It was entirely fortuitous. I didn't even intend on writing anything. But the directors came and asked me on bended knees. So I thought if they insist. And I finished the whole lot off in one evening. They were flabbergasted. But my mind's very agile. And you're probably wondering why you've never heard of me. That's because everything's published under the name Baron Brandius. The novel, The Frigate of Hope, most of the Moscow Weekly Telegraph, it's all mine.
So Baron Brandius is you?
Yes, he really is. Mind you, I revise articles for all sorts of people. And one publisher pays me $40,000 a time.
I wouldn't be surprised if The Prince and the Peasant Girl was yours.
Yep, that's one of mine.
I felt sure of it.
But, Mama, it says it's by Mr. Zagoskin.
I might have known you'd contradict me.
The girl is quite right. That one is by Zagoskin. But there's
another Prince and the Peasant Girl, which I wrote.
I'm sure it was yours I read. So beautifully written.
Yes, I just love literature, and everyone flocks to my salon. They all know Ivan Alexandrovich's. Gentlemen, if you're ever in town, please come and visit. I throw a great many parties.
I can imagine the style and the glitter of your parties.
You couldn't begin to. The centerpiece might be a watermelon. 700 rubles worth. And I order my soups direct from France. They come by steamer, in the tureen. And when the butler lifts the lid, you can imagine the aroma. I'm out dancing every night, and I have my normal four for bridge. The foreign secretary, the British ambassador, the French ambassador, and myself. And after one of these nights, one is simply no good for anything else. So I drag myself up to my room in the attic, and I tell my servant, take my coat. What am I saying? My apartment's on the first floor. You should see my staircase and my reception room before I wake in the morning. Counts and princes all jostling each other, buzzing away like bees. All you hear is bzz, bzz, bzz. They once thought that I was a cabinet minister, and they addressed a letter to Your Excellency. You know, I ran the whole ministry once. It was rather curious. The director had vanished. No one knew where he was. So naturally, there were a lot of questions of, how will we manage? Who will replace him? The more senior officials were more than eager to take his place. But once they saw what it entailed, it was too much for them. You see, that sort of thing is simple enough in theory, but putting it into practice is quite another work. So they had to come to find me. They sent messengers all over town to find me. And I asked them, is everything okay? And they said, Ivan Alexandrovich, please come and run the ministry. At first, I wasn't too enthusiastic. But then I thought, the emperor will come to hear of this, and it won't look good on my service record. So I told them, gentlemen, I accept, I say, but on my own terms. I keep my ears close to the ground. I don't take no nonsense. I intend to speak my mind. You know, I get about from place to place. Tomorrow, they're due to promote me to Field Marshal. I can't understand you. You're talking gibberish. What are you talking about?
Your Excellency, are you sure you wouldn't care for a bit of rest? There's a room ready upstairs. You'll be quite comfortable.
Rest? I don't need no rest. Well, perhaps I need a little rest. That fish, gentlemen, was delicious.
That Peter Ivanovich is a man. That's what it takes to be a man. In all of my life, I've never been with such an important person. What's your opinion, Peter Ivanovich, about his rank?
He must be the equivalent of a general.
General? He's got generals to wipe his boots. Didn't you hear how he balled out the cabinet? Let's go and tell Korobkin about him. Goodbye, Andreevna.
Goodbye, Andreevna.
I've never been more scared. And we're not even in uniform. Suppose he gets to work on his report in the morning. Good day, madam.
What a charming person. She's awfully sweet. And such lovely manners. You can tell he's from the capital at once, from the way he behaves and so on. Quite charming. Just the right age. I noticed he kept glancing at me. I think he was rather taken.
But Mama, he was looking at me.
What nonsense the girl speaks.
It's true.
And what reason, pray, would he have to look at you?
Honestly, Mama, he kept on looking. When he started on literature, he looked at me, and again when he mentioned playing bridge with those ambassadors.
Well, perhaps he glanced at you once out of pure politeness. What's the matter?
I'm really rather sorry I got him drunk. If even one half of it's true, but... Oh, it must be. When you're drunk, you just blurt out whatever's on your mind. In vino veritas, as the judge says. He plays cards with ministers and hobnobs at the palace.
Of course, I was the least bit in awe of him. Merely refreshed to meet a gentleman for a change. His rank never entered my head.
Oh, you women! God knows what you might blurt out. You're as familiar with him as if you were Dobzhansky or someone.
Don't worry, we know a thing or two.
How much good it is to talk to you. Grisha! Fetch the constables. They're outside somewhere. The world's gone cockeyed. He might at least look the part, but he's still limp and insignificant. With the uniform, you know where you stand. But in plain clothes, he looks like a fly with its wings torn off.
Come in, do.
Is he asleep?
No, just tossing about.
What's your name?
Osset, ma'am.
That's enough. Tell me, my friend, did they feed you properly?
Very nice. Thank you kindly, sir. Very nice.
I imagine your master's friendly with lots of counts and princes.
Princes in all sorts.
What is your master's rank?
It's what you'd expect.
For God's sake, you and your damn fool questions. I can't get a word in. This is an emergency. Men's lives hang by a thread. Now, tell me about your master, my friend. Would you say he's strict? Likes to give you a good dressing down?
He's very hot on efficiency. Everything done to order. That's what he likes.
You know what? I like you. You've got an honest face. I know what it is to travel these days, so here's a little something for your troubles.
Thank you kindly.
Now, I'd like to know.
Oh, sir, what color eyes does your master fancy?
Dear Osip, he's got such a sweet nose.
Shut up! Now, I'd like to know, when your master's on a tour of inspection, what's he particularly hot on?
It depends, but he likes to be shown around and entertained handsome.
Entertained handsome.
That's right. Of course, I'm only a servant, but sometimes he'll ask me especially, well, how was your trip, Osip? Not too good? Well, remind me to put one black mark against that official. Makes me laugh when I'm just a nobody.
You know what? That makes perfect sense.
You're much too good to me.
Come here, I've got something for you, too.
Osip, give your master a hug from me.
You've done enough damage. Get out.
Come along, dearest. There's a little something about our visitor that I would like to discuss with you privately.
I don't doubt. Makes you blush to hear it. Now, my friend, would you say that your master's a particularly hard man? Stomping in here with your great boots like a bunch of clumsy bears? Where the hell have you been?
Proceeding to my post as per orders.
Bellowing like a cow in labor? He's asleep. Now, my friend, take whatever you need from the house. Everything is yours if you so desire. Now, I'm gonna go check on the barracks. You station yourselves in the yard and don't let anyone in who's got no right to be here. And I mean those merchants. If you let a single one through, I'll crack you like an egg. If you see anybody sleeping along with the petition, even if you don't see the petition, but it looks like they've come here to complain about me, just beat them into the dirt. You got it?
Sir!
He's asleep.
For heaven's sake, gentlemen, get into line. If we're to pay him an official call, we might as well have a little order. Damn it, he's in and out of the palace and balls out of the cabinet.
This is all very well, Amos Theodorovich, but I still think we ought to,
What?
you know...
Slip him something?
Well, yes, you could put it like that.
It's an extraordinarily risky business, you know. He might explode. By my assessment, he's quite equivalent to that of a minister. Perhaps we could disguise it as a contribution. Yes, the local gentry wish to entrust you with these funds for a monument.
Or we could say, this money arrived in the mail, and we don't know who it belongs to. Watch out he doesn't mail you over the horizon. This isn't the way things are done in a civilized country. All of us herded together. We should pay our respects to him one at a time. When you're face to face with no witnesses, you can. That's how it's done. And no one the wiser. So, Amos Feodorovich, you ought to break the ice.
Oh no, you're far more the appropriate person. Besides, it was your institution our fine guest dined in.
Well, perhaps Uncle Lucas should approach him first. He's a born leader.
I couldn't, gentlemen. I know I couldn't. It's a strict way I was brought up. If I'm spoken to by an official even one rank higher, I grow quite faint, and my tongue won't function. Please, gentlemen, don't pick on me.
Well, Amos Feodorovich, there's nothing for it. After all, you are our Cicero.
What do you mean, Cicero? All I do is gossip about my hound. Gentlemen, stop calling.
Ow! Here, Monica, you stepped on my toe!
Jeez, you're crushing me to death!
I must have passed out properly. That brew they gave me at lunch was terribly strong. My head's still spinning. But I find one can pass the time very pleasantly here. These are most hospitable people, very generous-hearted, with no ulterior motives. This is the life for me.
Mother of God, give me strength. My fist's on fire. I apologize for disturbing you. I have the honor to introduce myself, Judge of the District Court, Collegiate Assessor Lyevkin Tiepkin.
So you're the judge here.
I was elected 20 years ago and have held office ever since.
It must be rather rewarding to be a judge.
For 3 terms, I was nominated to the Order of St. Vladimir, 4th class.
I do like the Order of St. Vladimir. I'd rather have a St. Vladimir 4th class than a St. Anna 3rd class.
I'm losing control.
I say, what's that in your hand?
Nothing.
What do you mean nothing? It looks like money.
Nothing. Nothing at all.
Yes, it is money.
He's weighing the evidence against me. The wagon's waiting to cart me off.
I say, could you let me have this? As a loan, of course.
Why, certainly, delighted. Mother of God, give me strength.
You know how it is. I ran through all my money on the road, but I'll send it back the minute I get home.
Oh, no need for that. It's an honor, of course. I'll endeavor with all my limited capacities to show zeal and diligence to my superiors. Have you any special orders for me?
What about?
Perhaps you wish to order a directive about the district court?
I'm not interested in that now.
Well, then I won't impose myself on you any longer. The town is ours.
That judge is a splendid fellow. I warm to people like him.
What are you so scared about?
I have the honor to present myself, Postmaster Court Counselor Specken.
I have the honor to present myself, the Director of Education Kalapa.
Delighted to see you both. Always glad to have congenial company. Do you live here permanently?
That's right, sir.
Not a bad little town. Not many people, I suppose, but why should there be? It's not the capital. Do you agree?
Oh, precisely.
Do sit down.
He's not at all so about asked us about everything.
On the other hand, I find one can live quite agreeably in a provincial town.
Yes, indeed.
In my opinion, the only essential is to be treated with respect.
No doubt about it, sir.
I'm so glad you agree. One might think it a curious notion, but that's the way I'm made. Can I offer you a cigarette?
I'm not prepared for that. Should I accept it or not?
Take it, take it. Not what I'm used to in the capital, of course. Those cigarettes cost 25 rubles a pack. And the flavor! You want to kiss your hand after one. Here's a light. Not that end.
Damn it, my nerves just spoiled everything.
I can see you're not a connoisseur of tobacco. They're my weakness, afraid. That and the fair sex. I'm far from indifferent to them. How about you?
What should I say?
I don't know.
Come on now, own up. You're blushing! Oh no! Come on! I can see you're quite mesmerized by me. I guess I do have that effect on people.
Yes, indeed, sir.
I may as well ask them for a loan. The most extraordinary thing has happened. I ran through all my money on the road. Could either of you offer me a loan?
I am here.
I've lost it.
I consider it an honor.
No, here it is.
I'm much obliged. I don't believe in denying myself anything while I'm traveling. And after all, why should I?
Why should you indeed? I won't take up any more of your valuable time.
I won't bother you by staying any longer.
Are there any instructions regarding the post office?
No.
Thank God that's over. We'll probably give the schools a miss now.
They're both very decent fellows, too. I have the honor to present myself, Director of Charities, Court Counselor, Assembly Annika. Oh, how do you do? Do sit down.
Thank you. It was my honor and personal pleasure to accompany you to the hospital entrusted under my care.
Oh, yes, I remember you. You laid on a rather good spread.
Always happy to be of service to my country.
But tell me, weren't you shorter this morning?
I might have been. I never spare myself in fulfilling my duties. But I wish I could say the same for my colleagues. The postmaster here doesn't lift a finger. Her department's in chaos, parcels all piled up. You can see for yourself. And as for the director of education, I can't imagine how our lords and masters entrusted such vital work to him. He's a raging liberal. The subversive matter he pumps into our youth. I'll say no more about that. And you know the judge? You met him earlier? He's only interested in hunting. He's turned the courthouse into a kennel. And as for his personal behavior, I know he's a colleague, and in fact a relation of mine. But loyalty to my country obliges me to tell you, well, it's immoral. There's a landowner here called Dobczynski. He's just outside the door. The instant Dobczynski leaves his home, the judge is through the back door and keeps his wife company for hours on end.
Really, I wouldn't have thought it of him.
If you like, I could conveniently put this all down on paper.
Why don't you? I'd love to have something amusing to read while I'm bored.
Well, I won't presume to trouble you any further. I know you have many calls on your time.
Not at all, not at all. You were most entertaining. Oh, what a piece of luck! You know I ran through all my money on the road. You know how it is. Much obliged.
I have the honor of presenting myself, Peter Ivanovich Dobczynski, son of Ivan Dobczynski, and a resident of this town.
Peter Dobczynski, son of Ivan Dobczynski, a local landowner.
I remember you. You hurt your nose. How is it?
No need to worry about it. It's healing up beautifully.
I'm so glad. Got any money?
Money? How much money?
1,000 rubles loan.
Oh, nothing like that, I'm afraid. Perhaps you have Peter Ivanovich?
Oh, yes, of course, but it's all safe and sound in government bonds.
Well, how about 100?
You have to have 100, Peter. I've only got 40 in notes.
25 altogether.
Check that right-hand pocket of yours. I expect you'll find more. Yeah, I know you have. Check the lining.
Nothing in the lining.
That can't be helped. So be it. 65 rubles. Most helpful.
I'd like to raise a rather delicate matter.
What is it?
It's extremely delicate. My eldest son anticipated my marriage.
How tactless.
Well, yes, that's a legal position. Of course, we went through all the correct procedures. We would just like to get it regularized so my son can perpetuate my last name, Dobczynski.
I think that can be arranged.
I wouldn't bother you, only he's such a promising lad. He learns verses by heart ever so quickly, just like his father. And if you give him a knife, by the time you sum the baby to sleep, he's carved the neatest little horse and cart.
I'll certainly put a word in with the right quarter. I expect you want something as well?
Yes, I do. Just a little favor.
What is it?
All I ask is that when you return to the capital and meet various great men from admirals and senators and the like, you say to them, Your Honor, or Your Excellency, as it happens to be, In such and such a town lives a man by the name of Peter Ivanovich Bobchinsky. Yeah, just say that. Peter Ivanovich Bobchinsky lives there.
Certainly, I'd be delighted.
And if you happen to be with the Emperor one morning, then say to him, Your Imperial Majesty, in such and such a town lives a man by the name of Peter Ivanovich Bobchinsky.
Certainly, certainly.
Excuse us for having bothered you,
Excuse us
sir.
for having us trouble you, sir.
Not at all, not at all. The pleasure's all mine. My God, this place is teeming with officials. It strikes me that they've taken me as someone from the government. Although I did throw a good bit of dust in their eyes at lunch. But what pumpkins they are! I think I'll write Charpichkin about them. He's always short of material for his column. They'd be easy meat for him. Hey, Ossip! Paper and ink.
Right.
Once he gets his knife into someone, the blood really starts to flow. Once, he crucified his own father for a headline. Anything for money. Mind you, these officials do have their points. I'll just check to see what I've got. 300 from the judge. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What a grubby old note. I'd say well over 1,000. Well, you old misery, they're certainly feting me all right, aren't they?
Yes, thank God. But you know what, Ivan Alexandrovich?
What?
Let's get out of here. It's time to be off.
Nonsense. Why?
Forget about them. Look, let's just leave while the going's good. Someone rather different might turn up. See what I mean?
No, I want to stay a little longer. We'll leave tomorrow.
Tomorrow's too late. They've mistaken you for someone else. And think of the Troy-horned horses they'll send us.
Very well. We'll leave tomorrow. But tell the coachman to hustle along and sing songs as though we were state couriers. But first send that letter. Charpichkin will be delighted.
I'll send one of the servants and start packing. Avdota? Here's a letter. It goes to the post office. And tell him it goes for you. And tell him to send the best Trojan horses. The ones they use for state couriers.
I'll need some money for that.
It's free. It's government business. And look sharp, or my master will be furious.
My orders are to keep everyone out.
Let us in! You've no right to keep us out. We're here on business.
He's not seeing anyone now. He's asleep.
What's that commotion? Ossip, see what's up.
It's a bunch of merchants. They're trying to get in. They're waving papers around. They must want to talk to you.
Well, my good people, what can I do for you?
We're appealing to your goodness, Your Honor. Make them take our petitions.
Let them through. Let them through. Let them all come. Who are you?
We're leading merchants of the town, sir. Boris Abdulin.
Nikolai Shanayan.
Sergei Pantelyevka.
I would like to present this petition.
What's it about?
Will we penalized for speaking with you?
Of course not. What's the matter?
It's the mayor, sir.
A mayor like him there's never been.
The mayor?
Oh, he's on milk and honey with you, no doubt, sir. But with us, it's persecution day after day.
When he builds the troops, he always picks on us.
Some fat surgeon sleeps in my family's bed while my wife and child sleep on the floor.
And if you say a word, he spits in your face.
Kicks you in the groin, more likely.
Or the police knock at your door in the middle of the night and take you down the alley and they...
Go on.
But they're angels compared to the mayor. We give dresses and handkerchiefs to his wife and daughter, but he's insatiable. He'll rummage through my stock and run off with a year's supply of Chinese silk.
That's daylight robbery.
Sir, when you see the mayor coming, you have to cover everything up in the shop. It's not just specialties. He'll swipe the filthiest trash. That barrel of rotten prunes, my assistant would even look at them. But the mayor grabbed a handful.
His birthday's on St. Anthony's Day, and he sends around a carriage for contributions.
And last week he announced a second birthday, so up rules the carriage again.
But we can't argue with him.
Last winter, he canceled all our trading permits.
And confiscated the stock. My family was starving.
What a frightful scoundrel. He could go to Siberia for that.
Oh, wherever you see fit to send him, Your Honor. Just as far away from us as possible. We brought you some small tokens of our respect. A little wine, some fruit.
I couldn't. I've never taken a bribe. Now, if you were to offer me 300 rubles as a loan, I think I could accept that. I could accept a loan.
Certainly, Your Honor.
300 is not very much. Make it 500.
700 if you'll act on our behalf.
As long as it's a loan, I won't refuse.
Why not take the tray too?
Please, I couldn't. I've never taken a bribe.
It all comes in handy when you're traveling, Your Honor, right? We'll take the tray. It'll all come in useful.
You've no right to keep me out. I'll complain about you. Stop pushing. You're hurting me.
Please, Your Honor, give us a hearing. Make them let us in.
Let them through. Let them through.
We're counting on your protection, Your Honor. If you fail us now, we might as well cut our own throats.
I'll do my level best.
Mercy, Your Excellency.
Help us, Your Honor.
Who are you?
I am a respectable woman, wife of the locksmith, Verona
Corporal
Petrovna
Verna's widow, Your Honor.
Please, one at a time. What's the matter?
You've got to help us, Your Honor. We want to make a complaint about the mayor. God brought him, and his sniveling daughter, and his stuck-up wife. And may all the plagues of Egypt blast them.
What's all this about?
He had my husband drafted, and it wasn't his turn. The louse. And anyways, it's a breach of the regulations. Him being a married man.
How could he do it then?
Oh, he did it all right. The scab. God punished him for all his evil in this world and the next. And the same for his mother, if she's still kicking. And if his stinking father's still alive, may his flesh decay inch by inch. The tailor's son was next on the list. He's a drunken son anyways, but his parents bought him off. So then the mayor moved on to young Pennsylvania. His old man came oiling along with 3 dress lengths, so we were next. What's good your husband to you, he said. He's past it. Well, I'm the one who knows if he's past it or not. That's my lookout. The old bastard. He accused my husband of being a thief. He may not have swiped anything yet, but he's bound to sooner or later. And then he'd be conscripted anyways. What's good in my life without a husband? I'm a weak, defenseless woman. Death and damnation to him and his family. And if he's got a mother-in-law like that old hag...
That's enough! I've heard enough. I expect you want something as well.
Don't ignore us, Your Honor. Take up our call.
Keep it brief.
He had me flogged, sir.
Why?
It was an injustice, sir. Some of the women got to fighting in the market, and the police never showed up till it was all over. So they asked the mayor, what will we do? And he told them, arrest the first person you see. They took it in turns to flog me.
They crippled her for life.
I can't do much about that now.
Of course, what's done is done. But don't I deserve some compensation after what I've been through? I could do with the money.
I understand. Run along. Run along. Oh, there's nothing to be alarmed about, mademoiselle.
Oh, I wasn't alarmed.
I'm very flattered you shouldn't be. Where were you going?
Nowhere in particular.
Why weren't you going anywhere in particular?
I thought Mama might have been in here.
No, you didn't. I insist on knowing why you weren't going anywhere in particular.
I'm afraid I've disturbed you. You've got such important things on your mind.
No, you couldn't possibly disturb me. Or rather, you do disturb me very deeply.
Oh, you're just saying that.
No, I mean it. Could I offer you a seat? Oh, that it could be a throne.
Really, I shouldn't. I ought to go.
What a pretty scarf.
You're teasing me, making fun of our country ways.
No, I wish I could be that scarf hanging around your neck.
I can't think of what you're talking about. Some nonsense about a scarf. Funny weather we're having today.
I'm more interested in your scarf than the weather.
You are persistent. I'd love for you to write a verse in my album as a keepsake. You know so much about poetry.
For you, anything you like. What sort of verse?
Something nice and modern.
And shoes.
Oh, please. I'd love to hear you recite it.
Well, all right. I'll recite you one I wrote a few days ago. Drink to me with thine eyes, and I shall drink with mine. Sheep's more where that came from. I just can't remember them for the moment. But they're trivial. I'd far rather talk to you about my love for
Love? What do you mean, love? I can't think of what you're talking about.
Why do you shrink from me? Why can't we be close?
Why must you come so close? It's all the same if we're far apart.
Why be so far apart when we can be close?
What good does this do?
It's pure illusion that we're close. Just imagine that we're far apart. And I'd be so happy to be holding you in my arms.
You're going too far. That's a liberty.
Forgive me, chère mademoiselle. It was an impulse of love.
You think you can treat us provincials anyhow.
Forgive me. It was an impulse of love. Pure love. I was only being naughty, Marya Antonovna. Don't be angry. Look at me on my knees, begging for your forgiveness.
What?
Uh-oh.
What is the meaning of this, madame? What sort of conduct is this, may I ask? Kindly leave the room. Away with you, you hear? And don't let me see you again. I must apologize. Believe me, I had no idea.
Madam, you see me suffering from love.
Oh, do get up. The floor is not at all clean.
No, I remain on my knees to know my fate. Is it to be life or death?
Just a minute. I don't understand what you're saying. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but are you making a declaration of love about my daughter?
No, it's you I'm in love with. My life hangs on a word. If you reject me, it will not be worth living. With my heart ablaze, I plead for your love.
I must remind you, I'm sort of married already.
That has no significance. Love has no barriers. We'll saunter hand in hand by babbling streams. Yes, it's your love I want.
Mom, pass on the t-shirt.
What's the matter with you? You burst in here as if you were a scalded cat. And what did you see that was so surprising? When will you come to understand some of the niceties of etiquette?
Honestly, Ma, I didn't know.
In one ear and out the other with you.
Anna Andreevna, don't oppose our happiness. Give our love your blessing.
So it is her!
Yes, I'm in love with her. Is it to be life or death?
So you see, you ridiculous girl. It's all on account of you minx, that our guest was on his knees. And then you had to burst in here as if you were demented. I've got a good mind to withhold my consent. She doesn't deserve such an honor.
Oh, I will from now on, Mama.
Your Honor! Your Honor! Don't disgrace me! Don't disgrace me!
What have you seen?
I know those merchants have been complaining about me, but on my word of honor, not one half of it's true. And if the corporal's widow said I had her flogged, she's lying through her teeth. She flogged herself.
To blazes with them. I'm not interested in them now.
Have you heard of the honor which Ivan Alexandrovich has conferred on us? He's asked for our daughter's hand.
Are you out of your mind? Don't be offended, Your Excellency. She's like her mother. She's a little cracked.
But it's true. I'm asking for your daughter's hand. I'm madly in love.
You're pulling my leg.
I'm telling you, it's true.
I've never been more serious. My heart is hers already.
It can't be. I'm not worthy.
If you reject me, it will not be worth living. I will not answer for the consequences.
The man's a lump of wood. How can we drive it into his thick skull?
Give us your decision.
I wouldn't be so presumptuous.
I'm a desperate man. I might do anything. If I shoot myself, they'll arrest you.
Don't get so worked up. My mind can't handle a strain. You do whatever you want.
Give them your blessing.
Bless you, my children, but don't hold it against me. Slap my arm. It's true. He kissed her.
The horses are ready, sir! The horses are ready, sir!
I'll be with you in a moment.
Whoa. Surely you're not leaving us.
Yes, I must go.
But wasn't there something about a marriage?
Yes, that. I have to A very rich old man. But I'll be back in no time. I must get his blessing too.
We won't presume to delay you, but we'll look forward to your return.
Goodbye then, Maria Antonovna. I can't find words to express my happiness. Goodbye, my dearest.
Before you go, are you sure you don't want anything for the journey? Remember, you were a bit short on money.
No, there's no need for that. Well, if you insist.
How much would you like?
Well, you gave me 200. No, it was 4. Don't imagine I take advantage of your mistake. So why don't we just make it an even 800?
Here it is exactly, in brand new notes.
They say new currency brings happiness.
Yes, they do, don't they?
Goodbye then, Anton Antonovich. You've been most hospitable. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Goodbye, Anna Andreevna. Goodbye, my beloved Maria Antonovna.
But surely you're not traveling by public troika instead of your own carriage.
Yes, I must. Spring is giving me such headaches.
Well, you have to put something on the seat. A rug. Let me give you a rug.
No, there's no need. Well, perhaps a rug would be nice.
Avdota! Run to the storeroom and fetch our best rug, the blue Persian one. Hurry up. When can we expect you back, sir?
Tomorrow, or the day after, at the very latest.
Got that rug? Let's have it.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Ivan Alexandrovich.
Don't forget your promises. Well, while I have a moment, I'll just tear into that rabble who are complaining about me. Hey, you there. Round up those merchants. I'll give the skunks something to remember. Complain about me, eh? Judases. And spread it around how God has blessed the mayor. He's not marrying his daughter to some petty landowner, but to the most influential man in the world. Shout it from the street corners. Ring the church bells. Make an announcement. If we're gonna have a triumph, let's do it properly. Well, Anna Andreevna, had a chance to wait up yet? Admit it now. This is beyond your wildest dreams. Transformed from a mayor's wife to... It's fantastic. And where shall we live now? Here or in the capital?
The capital, of course. We can't stay here.
Well, so be it. I shall have to say goodbye to being a mayor, though.
Naturally. What's a mayor?
What do you mean, what's a mayor? Still, I might win some promotion. If he's still chummy with ministers, I could rise to a real rank. What do you think, Anna Andreevna? Could I get up to be a general?
Why ever not?
It must be wonderful to be a general. To hang a staff across your shoulder, and when you're riding, couriers and adjutants gallop about in front, commandeering horses for you. At the post station, everyone's clamoring for horses, but you get first pick. Counselors, captains, mayors, all left kicking their heels, and you don't give a damn. You dine with the governor, and the mayors kept standing. That's rich.
You won't be able to indulge such coarseness in the future. Your friends won't be a judge you hunt rabbits with or Zemlyanica. They'll be highly refined, well-bred counts and aristocrats. I'm distinctly apprehensive some of your remarks will cause offense.
Words never hurt anybody.
It was all right while you were mayor, but in that society, there are certain delicacies.
Yes, they say there are 2 kinds of fish, eels and smelts, which fairly make your mouth water.
All he can think of is fish. I shall make our house the first in the capital, and my room will be brimming with scent, so you have to close your eyes to walk inside. Oh, what heaven!
Ah, come in, my beauties.
We hope you're in the best of health, Anton Antonovich.
Oh, you do you? You two-faced cheap-jacks! How dare you present a petition? You will sweat blood for that, you filthy trap!
Anton!
You won't be in a position to abuse us much longer.
I'll be in a much better position. It may interest you to know that the inspector you complain to is engaged to my daughter. Suppose I tell him about your contract with the army, Abdulin, when you cleaned up 100,000 rubles supplying rotten cloth. You'll be in for it then. But you sign a petition and expect my silence? And what about you? Trinity, who accepted your tender for the chapel we never built? It was me, you bearded goat! Short memory, Pantaleeva. If it weren't for me, right now your son would be cannon fodder. If I choose to go into the witness box, you'll all be trundled off to Siberia.
It was very wrong of us, Anton Antonovich.
The devil tempted us.
Please, we'll give you anything you ask for.
You stinking swine. I know if you'd had half a chance, you'd trample me in the mud and roll logs over me. Well, God forgive you. But take note, it's not some local landowner who's marrying my daughter. So you'd better make your congratulations appropriate. Understand? I'll be sending around the carriage tomorrow for contributions. With There's your Morta, if you need any encouragement. So no more of your mothy furs or corked Madeiras. Now get out!
Anton Antonovich, if we're to believe the rumors, you've had an extraordinary stroke of luck. The rumors are true.
Warmest congratulations on your good fortune. I was delighted to hear about it.
Thank you.
Anna Andreevna, Maria Antonovna.
Anton Antonovich, I congratulate you. Long life to you and the happy couple. And may you be blessed with grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Anna Andreevna, Maria Antonovna.
It is my pleasure to congratulate you, Anton Antonovich. Anna Andreevna, Maria Antonovna.
Our heartfelt congratulations on your new happiness.
It's an honor to congratulate you, Anna Andreevna, and a pleasure to congratulate you, Maria Antonovna.
It's my pleasure to congratulate
Anna
you.
Andreevna, it's a privilege to congratulate
Such
you.
a happy
Anna
occasion.
Andreevna.
Anna Andreevna.
Maria Antonovna, every good wish, you'll be supremely happy. Oh, you'll parade about in a gold dress and dine off the choicest soups from Paris.
Maria Antonovna, it's my pleasure to congratulate you. May God grant you wealth and a tiny baby boy so big he can fit in the palm of your hand. Oh, he'll keep you awake at night. Wah, wah, wah.
My wife and I have the supreme honor.
I do congratulate you, Anna Andreevna. I'm so delighted. They said to me, Anna Andreevna is marrying off her daughter. And I said to my husband, Luca, how happy this will make Anna Andreevna. And I said to myself, thanks be to God. And I said to him, I cannot wait to express my feelings in person to Anna Andreevna. I know she had great hopes for a good marriage, but this is the hand of fate. I was so overwhelmed. I cried and cried. The tears streamed down. Luca said, what's the matter, Miss Dinka? I said, I don't know myself.
Please, gentlemen, be seated.
Tell us about how this whole matter came about, Anton Antonovich. We're dying to know the whole affair.
It was unbelievable. He even made the proposal in person.
In a most respectful and refined manner. He addressed me, of course. It's my admiration for your qualities, Anna Andreevna, that prompts me. Such a delightful, well-bred man, with the highest principles. I'm quite sincere, Anna Andreevna, when I say that my life would not be worth living without you.
But Mama, he was speaking to me.
Keep quiet and mind your own business. Anna Andreevna, he said, you overwhelm me, and many other flattering things. And when I tried to say, we wouldn't dare dream of such an honor, he fell to his knees and said in the most moving way, Anna Andreevna, my life is in your hands. Relieve me of my passion, or I won't answer for the consequences.
Honestly, Mama, he was speaking to me.
Well, I don't deny you were included.
And he gave us a real scare. He threatened to do away with himself.
I'll shoot myself, he cried. I'll really do it.
Did he really?
That's something.
Vic had to hand it somewhere.
Nothing so crude as fate. This is a reward for a solid marriage. Just a swine like that to get all the bricks.
May one inquire as to where your distinguished guest is now? I'm heard he had to leave for some reason or other.
He's just gone for the day. Our most important visit.
To a wealthy uncle of his, to ask for his blessing.
To ask for his blessing. But he'll be back tomorrow.
Oh, God
That's
bless
what
you. God bless you.
Choke yourself.
Go to hell!
Life and prosperity. Thank you kindly. And the same to you.
We plan to move to the capital. The atmosphere here is rather too boorish for our taste. And my husband will undoubtedly be promoted to general.
General? Yes, gentlemen. I think I can count on being a general.
Oh, may God grant it. Great ships need deep oceans.
Ability will always be recognized.
That'll be the day when he's a general. Might as well saddle it now. You're not there yet, you old fraud.
You never know. He might pull it off. He's conceited enough. Well, Anton Antonovich, if all of that comes about, I hope you won't forget your old friends here.
And put in a word for us when you have to place a contract.
Next year, I hope to take my son to the capital to enroll him in government service. It would be a great kindness if you would keep a fatherly eye on him.
I'll see what I can do.
You'll be much too busy, Anton. Don't tie yourself down.
Why not? It may be possible.
Well, of course it's possible. But you can't look after every nobody that comes along.
Did you hear what your father?
Sit up, take out the table, and up go its feet.
Gentlemen, there's been a terrible mistake. The man we took for inspector wasn't.
What do you mean?
What are you talking
He
about?
wasn't a government inspector. I found out in a letter.
Letter. What letter?
His own letter. He sent a letter down to my post office. The address said Post Office Street. I was horrified. I thought to myself, he's uncovered some irregularity in my department, and he's notifying the authorities. So I opened it.
How could you?
I don't know how I did. Some power beyond my control tempted me. I'd sent for a messenger to express it, but I was seized by an overwhelming curiosity. There was this voice, whispering in one ear, "Don't open it, or you'll wither like the grass in the field." And there was this other voice, a devil, urging me on. "Open it." I touched the seal, and my veins coursed with fire. And I broke the seal, and a great numbness gripped me. My hand shook, and everything went black.
How dare you tamper with an important man's letter?
That's just it. He's not important.
Then what is he, in your opinion?
God knows. He's nothing.
How dare you call him nothing? I'll have you arrested.
Who? You?
Yes, me.
I don't think you're entitled to.
I'll have you know that he's engaged to my daughter, and I expect enough promotion to pack you off to Siberia.
Anton Antonovich. I should have mentioned Siberia if I were you. I better read you what it says.
Fine.
Gentlemen, let me read you the letter. My dear Tupitchkin, I can't wait to tell you my fantastic adventure. On my way here, I was cleaned right out by a cavalry officer, and the innkeeper was about to have me locked up, when suddenly, because of my fashionable clothes and behavior, the whole town took me for a government inspector. At the moment, I'm installed to the mayor's, and amusing myself by flirting with his wife and daughter. Remember our nights out on the town, scrounging meals, and the time that waiter threw me out for charging our drinks to the Queen of England's account? Things are looking up now. The people here fall over each other to give me loans. What a bunch! You're always short of material for your columns. Why not run them as a series? First, there's the mayor, as dumb as an ox.
Impossible! It's not written there.
See for yourself.
Dumb as an ox. It can't be. You wrote that yourself.
How could I?
Read on.
The mayor, as dumb as an ox.
Don't repeat it.
As an ox. The postmaster's a proper specimen.
Why are you slowing down?
What's the point?
If we're gonna have some of it, let's have all of it.
I'll read it. The postmaster's a proper specimen. She's even dumber than the mayor.
What does he know about me?
The director of charities.
What are you stopping for?
It's not very legible. Anyways, it's obvious he's an extremely nasty piece of work.
Here, let me see it. My eyesight's better than yours.
I'm quite capable of reading a letter. Here we are.
Read on.
Come on.
Here, just go on right from here.
The director of charities gossips about everyone.
Me? I've never gossiped about anyone.
The director of education reeks like an onion.
But I'm always very careful in uniform. Thank goodness, nothing about me.
The judge. The judge, Lyapkin Tyapkin, is the ultimate country clod. Anyway, they're extremely hospitable. How I envy your life as a writer. Much more interesting than mine. Do drop me a line. I'm staying at our village, Podkanalupa, province of Saratov.
Well, that could go from the blue.
I can't see clearly. I see pig snouts instead of faces. Fetch him back! Fetch him back!
Oh, if only we could. Just to make things easier, I sent the best work on horses and gave the same instructions ahead.
Damn it, he got 300 rubles off me as a loan.
300 from me.
And I gave him 300 too.
Peter Ivanovich and I left him 65 between us!
I don't understand. How can we let this happen? How can we be so utterly taken in?
But Anton, it can't be true. He's engaged to Maria.
Engaged! Engaged! To heck with your engagement! Yak about engagement! Let all Christendom, let the whole world come and see what a fool I made of the mayor. I've been in the service for 30 years, and not once has a merchant or contractor got the better of me. I out-swindled the swindlers. I outsmarted 3 governors. But what's a governor? You crass pighead. You took that non-entity, that limp radish for somebody important, and now he's jingling around the countryside with the whole story. And I won't stop there. They'll dig up some cheap journalist, some pansy pen pusher, and then they'll stick you up on the stage. That'll be the last straw. They'll have no respect for your rank or office, and they'll bare their teeth and brave. What are you laughing at, you morons? You're laughing at yourselves. I'd like to get my hands on those writers, sniveling liberals, slimy parasites. I'd pound them into a jelly and stamp them into the gutter. It's true. When God wants to punish you, he takes away your reason first. What was there about that feather-brained sop to suggest he was an inspector? Nothing. Not the ghost of a resemblance. But suddenly everyone was bleeding. He's here. He's here. It's the inspector. He's here. Who was it that started that rumor? Answer me that.
I can't explain how it happened for the life of me. We were groping in a fog, and the devil misdirected us.
If you want to know who started it, it was them. Those prize idiots.
What? Oh, I had no idea. Honestly, it wasn't me.
Nothing to do with me. I didn't say a word.
Of course it was you.
Of course it was. You ran out of the inn like men possessed, shouting, "He's here! He's here! He doesn't pay his bills! It must be him!" You made the great discovery.
Of course it was you. You confounded little liars, you village gossips.
To hell with you and your tattle.
You strut around the town and confuse everybody, spreading gossip like oversized magpies, you beastly little chatterboxes.
Parasites.
Nonsense.
Pot-bellied prawns.
Honestly, it wasn't me. It was Peter Ivanovich.
Oh, now, Peter Ivanovich, you know that's not true.
You were the one.
The government inspector from the capital is at the hotel. He summons you to his presence immediately, in the name of the Tsar.